Nini everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you to Two Dark Ravens. I know that you commented this really long, comments, and you've been commenting regularly on my channel. I want to apologize to you just because I accidentally deleted one of your, largest comments so far, and which you asked, like, hey, why am I doing this Jesus Bible series, and, what have I looked at these other sources, and you gave references to other channels and stuff. So if you would please leave a comment down below as to what those were. I apologize, I don't remember what they were, and again, because I deleted the comment, my viewers are not going to be able to see them, and why not send them over and they can get a different perspective. So, excuse me. If you would be so kind as to do that, that'd be awesome. Again, so sorry. But the main point of me making these videos, as I said in the first one, was just an idiot saying that, all gods are basically Krishna, including Jesus, how Jesus is a reincarnation of Krishna. And I was like, man, Jesus is not the reincarnation of Krishna. Jesus wasn't even the Jewish Messiah as you think. I can prove it using the Bible. Here's this series. I mean, certainly what you find are elements of Krishna, or elements of, of Krishna in Jesus, because Krishna is like 500 years older than the story of Jesus, and he's found in like the Bhagavad Gita, just like you find elements of Dionysus in Jesus, and the Pharaoh Snefru, and him folding the lake in half in the story of Moses. It's because the fucking Jews stole everything, including their culture of the people they were at war with. And the Egyptians, they just had their ways about them. They just influenced everybody. So, the Jewish religion is based off of Zoroastrianism, and while the Jews reject Ha-Satan, or the Satan, the opposer, Ahriman the opposer, which is where the whole concept comes from, Christians kept that. They're like, no, we like the idea of Satan, it helps control people. So, that's why you find elements of Krishna in Jesus. I am disproving Jesus using the Bible. That's kind of the whole point of this series. So anyway, part 2, we're going to be moving on here. We are going to be looking at Isaiah 53. Many Christians love quoting Isaiah 53 about the suffering servant, and it being proof of how Jesus is the Messiah, as John 12:37 and 38 certainly try to draw to those conclusions. Well, it's kind of too bad that Isaiah 41:8, 44:1, 44:21, 45:4, and 49:3 all mention Israel and Jacob, which means the people of Israel and not a person, is/are the suffering servant. Furthermore, 52 describes the subjugation of Israel to the Gentiles. The Assyrians. We talked about them in the last video. In 52:10, we see that God will lay bare his holy arm in the sight of all the nations. And 53:1 says, who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? So clearly, it's a continuation of 52. In 53:9, we find he was assigned a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death. When was Jesus buried with the rich? He wasn't. So how is 53:1 about Jesus, but 53:9 not, when they clearly are the same story? In fact, 53:10 speaks about offspring and the prolonging of his days. So who were Jesus's kids? And when did crucifixion ever, equate living a long life? Clearly, Isaiah 53 isn't about Jesus, but about the nation of Israel and her people, just like it says. So let's go ahead and look at the next one, which is Zechariah 9:9, and this will be the last one for the day. In Zechariah 9:9, we find an authentic messianic prophecy. God is speaking through his mouthpiece, Zechariah, telling the Jews to rebuild his temple, and God will then protect them forever by promising a new king would arrive, one who would save the Jews from their enemies and bring about world peace. Zechariah 9:9 speaks about the new king arriving on a colt. The colt of a donkey, I believe, is what it is. And while the idea of arriving on something like the colt, a baby of a donkey, could be like a metaphor for peace, as opposed to a king who would come riding on a war horse, the four Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John took this quite literally. Matthew 21, 1 through 7, Mark 11, 3 through 10, Luke 19, 28 through 38, and John 12, 12 through 15. Interestingly enough, though, only Matthew mentions Jesus asking for both a donkey and a colt, whereas Mark and Luke say only that he wanted the colt. John, however, says that it was Jesus who found the colt, as opposed to him sending his disciples out to do it for him. So there's still no mention of a donkey, though. See, the problem here is that we know that this prophecy would have been well known. This was a savior that the Jewish people were looking for. So any asshole could have come riding down on a donkey or a colt or a horse, or it don't matter. Whatever the prophecy said it was, any asshole could have jumped on top of the back of that animal and came riding into town and going, I am the king now because I have come riding in on a colt. Or I have come riding in on whatever. So, yeah, you really cannot use this as a fulfilled prophecy in any sense. It's just not fair to count it as such, because Jesus came from the wrong line, and he never brought world peace to the lands, nor was he ever a Jewish king. Now, of course, Christians are going to claim this prophecy isn't fulfilled, as he will return and reign as king, but we're going to get to that in another video. Maybe even next time. Maybe. So that is it for tonight, guys. I know this one's just going to be a little bit shorter, and I kind of just rambled for a little bit. Apologies. But it's back to the night shift for me. So that's it for tonight. Sanapte.